so we're back talking some more of The Mandalorian Season 3 on the channel, Episode 7. We've reached the penultimate episode for the season, and since we are coming to a conclusion on the season, the main hope, I think, is that it ends strong, because some of the episodes, in terms of plot progression, haven't been the greatest. I think the biggest example of that was last week's episode. Even though I thought for the most part it was fine, there were some decisions in it that I wasn't particularly a big fan of, like the way that Din gave back the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, but seeing as how the buzz around this episode has been very strong, the people that saw it at Star Wars Celebration said it's one of the best Mandalorian episodes ever, I went in expecting that level of quality from this episode. And for me at least, this episode lived up to the hype on all levels. This episode in general is so well-rounded, excelling in all categories, phenomenal action set pieces, amazing reveals as the story moves forward, and it's packed to the brim with tension, setting the stage for a thrilling finale, on top of the fact we have a very sad ending to this too. But first things first, we gotta talk about the badass return of Moff Gideon. We knew he was returning, and Giancarlo Esposito, as per usual, is excellent as the character. A really great reintroduction to him for Season 3. It was extremely fascinating seeing what he's planning to try and take out the Mandalorians, but also the plans that are discussed about a Project Necromancer, which seemingly we unfortunately know is most likely the precursor to the resurrection of Emperor Palpatine. Not only that, but there are other very cool things about this conversation. First off, we get the name drop for Admiral Thrawn because we know he's kind of lurking in the shadows at the moment. We do know he's going to inevitably come back, of course. You know he's going to be the big bad for Ahsoka. But the other characters that he's speaking to in this room, you have General Hux's father, and even Captain Pelion makes a live-action appearance, who most Star Wars fans know for being a known fixture in the Thrawn books, which I highly recommend you check out. Now that Bo-Katan has the Darksaber back and has taken full leadership role of the Mandalorians, it was riveting to see her return back to the rest of the camp with the Night Owls, and I love their little plan on how they're going to take back Mandalore. Obviously, pretty much anybody that's anybody in the show is going to return with her to take on Mandalore, but I think the best part about this tidbit of the episode is the mech suit that Grogu has now. They've repurposed IG-12 into a mech suit, which, I mean, that's great for merchandising purposes. There's going to be so many more Grogu action figures with that mech suit. But the scene in general genuinely was pretty hilarious with the yes and no commands. He's a whole menace, pushing the buttons repeatedly while trying to get on Din's nerves. Given that we know that Moff Gideon has all of these plans to take out the Mandalorians, I was extremely on edge, nervous the moment the Mandalorians touched down on Mandalore, since I had a feeling that he was going to be cooking up something to take them out on the planet. Unfortunately, I was correct. This episode in particular, I think, had strong character development for Bo-Katan. I love learning how Bo-Katan lost the Darksaber to Moff Gideon trying to help everyone out, and also how it helps develop Bo-Katan as a character when she tells them the truth about everything, and I think it allows all these Mandalorians who once hate her to realize Bo-Katan isn't really as bad as they all thought she was. Throughout this entire episode, there are so many tension-filled moments that you're just waiting anxiously on when the straw is going to break the camel's back. Between all of these different Mandalorians, there's a lot of sequences in the latter half. The first one was kind of a petty squabble between Paz Vizsla and Axe over this game. Out of all the side Mandalorians, Axe gets a lot of screen time this episode, so if there's a lot of Axe fans out there, you're gonna be very happy with this episode, I imagine. Just when you think the tension is over though, and it finally lifts, this big creature comes out of the ground, so they have to go underground, and then it gets progressively worse. Once they're underground, Gideon sends in all of the troops, and I do think this action sequence is thrilling. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, not sure how they're even going to make it out of this situation because there were so many different fights going on. Honestly, this entire end portion of the episode, my nerves were shot just because it was so intense. I was so bummed out that Din gets separated from the group and gets captured on the other side of the door and is immediately captured leading into the finale by, of course, Moff Gideon. I do love the entrance that he makes because he has a full new getup here. He has all new Mandalorian Beskar armor, and he even has a villain helmet now. He only wears it for like 2 seconds, but it looked amazing in those 2 seconds. These writers, though, they really want to tug at your heartstrings at the very end because Paz Vizsla gets his big heroic moment, the real MVP. He gets to hold off all of the troops while the rest of the Mandalorians escape, besides Din, of course. And it's an amazing action sequence, and you really think he's gonna make it. He kills all of the troops, and then out come these damn Praetorian guards. I haven't seen them, I think, since The Last Jedi. They kick his ass immediately, and Paz Vizsla dies. I mean, Paz Vizsla, up until this point, was not a character like I had a whole lot of attachment to. There was a lot of great character development for him in Season 3, and then they go and give him this hero's death, and he gets killed brutally, and that's the end of the episode as we head into the finale, which I think is going to be an amazing finale. It's just going to be very emotionally resonant, also just through the fact that Din is captured, and that has me nervous for the future. But who knows? Bo-Katan and the rest of the Mandalorians are going to have to save them from Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon continues to be an amazing Star Wars villain. So all around, I thought this was an excellent episode. I think this is probably my new favorite of the entire season. But now I've heard my thoughts on the episode. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of episode 7 of season 3 of The Mandalorian? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? Share your thoughts down below, what you thought of everything. And also, if you have any predictions on where we're going to go with the finale, because of all the things that we saw in this episode, I think it's shaping up to be a pretty epic finale. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking about it in the comment section with you guys. So thank you guys as always for checking out the reviews. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share up-to-date reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.